So what's up, man? Let's continue this conversation, let's continue this discussion. What do you need to buy a house? All right. We talk about investing in real estate. We talk about different real estate strategies. We talk about all of these things, but at a basic level, fundamental level, you need to know how to buy, right? And there's three criteria when it comes to loan officers and the people that ultimately the underwriter and how they make the decision when it comes to if you qualify for a home. Number one, income, right? The threshold for you to buy is you obviously have to make a certain amount of money. Well, how much money do you need to make? On average, you need to make enough money to qualify for a house. If you take a salary, you times that by 4 to 5, that tells you at a basic level if you qualify for a purchase price of a home. So let's say I make $100,000 a year. My household, if it's just myself, I make $100,000 a year. Then I qualify just from an income perspective, without looking at all of the other different variables. I should qualify for a house around $400,000 to $500,000. Can it be more? Yes. Can it be less? Sure. But from just a basic income perspective, without looking at your debt, and we're going to talk about that next, you should be able to qualify for a home based on a 4 to 5 times your income rate when it comes to that income side of things, right? Number two, your debt to income ratio is so important. It might be the most important thing when it comes to purchasing homes. All right, what's your debt to income ratio? What does that mean? Right? You take your gross income, you divide it by your debts, meaning how much you pay for on your credit report, right? Because not all debts is on your credit report. So the items that's on your credit report, you take your debts, you divide that by your income, it gives you a percentage. Realistically speaking, if you are looking for a conventional loan, which most people are, you need to have a debt to income ratio under 35%. They want it in the low 30s, preferably. So if you in that 30, 32, if you less than 30, if you close to 35, you're in a sweet spot to be able to purchase a home using your debt to income ratio. Again, number one, income. Number two, DTI, debt to income ratio, which is why it's always so important. I harp on this all the time. Pay off your debts. Pay them off. You won't be able to buy and purchase properties, especially in this high interest rate environment that we're in currently, when you have high debt. Won't be able to do it, right? Not all debt is evaluated the same. So if you have student loan debt, that's much different than credit card debt, which is much different than personal loans debt, and so forth and so on, right? So understanding that people go to college, that people got student loan issues, they have debts of whatever number that you have, the loan officer and the underwriter will then determine what type of home or what how much purchase value you have when it comes to your debts, based on the type of debt that you have, your student loan amounts, and your income, obviously. And last but not least, your credit score is very important. Your credit as a whole obviously has a part into the debts and looking at all of those factors, but your credit score from a mortgage score perspective, and let's have a deep dive into that real quick. If you're looking at Credit Karma for your mortgage score, going into banks looking for credit cards, that ain't the score that you need to look at. That's your Vantage credit model score. That's not your real FICO score. We talk about FICO right now. So if you're looking at Credit Karma, which is fine to track, you need to take a look at My FICO. Go to myfico.com. Go to your app store on your phone and download the app My FICO and look at your FICO scores. That is currently what the industry standard is when it comes to scoring models. So under your FICO score, they have different FICO scoring models that then determine the type of loans, the type of, banks that's going to go take a look at your FICO score and then determine if you qualify for a mortgage based on that FICO mortgage score. These are the things that I did not know prior to becoming a homeowner, right? And then I had to learn these things before I could actually go buy my first house, about 5 or 6 years ago, right? So download my FICO. Look at your FICO score. There are multiple different FICO scores. You have a FICO score for credit cards. You have a FICO score for card notes, auto loans. You have a FICO score for mortgages. They are all different, and you need to know what your FICO score is when it comes to your mortgage. And at a minimum, conventional loans, at a minimum, 620. But you need to get closer to that 660 range, 680, 700 to get yourself in a good position so that you don't have an underwriter or a loan officer telling you that your credit score is not good enough, right? If you are a conventional loan, you just a regular person looking for a conventional loan, you need to be closer to that 650, 660 range. In this current climate that we're in with higher interest rates, it's not as easy as it used to be to get a mortgage, to get a mortgage loan approved, right? So I'm not going to set you up for failure and tell you 620, even though most people say, hey, you only need a 620. But then when you get in there and say, yeah, but we really looking for a 660 or higher mortgage score. Emphasize that, right? If you are a military and you're looking for a VA loan, then things are a little bit different. Right, us military folks, we get a little bit of we get a little bit better discounts on qualifications, right? So, for a military member, your DTI can be a little higher, right? If you're looking for a VA loan and you're utilizing a VA loan, then your DTI could be in the high 30s and in some cases around 40%. But again, it's harder to get a loan approved if your DTI is higher. So even in that situation, I would always tell people, hey, make sure that you can get your DTI as low as 35, if not lower. And then last but not least, for a VA loan, you do not have a credit minimum that you need to make. They say they can give out loans as low as five something, high fives, low sixes. But again, to put yourself in a great position from an underwriter perspective, then get yourself in that 620, 630, 640, 650. If you can't get to 660 range, that's going to ultimately benefit you when it comes to buying a house, right? So one, income. You need the income to validate that you can afford a mortgage. A mortgage is the biggest investment that you're going to make for the most part for your life, right? Outside of you owning a business and you got massive amount of income and investments, your mortgage is your biggest investment of your lifetime. So your income has to validate it. You have to make enough money. Secondly, your DTI has to be low, below that 30% threshold. Pay off your debts. Prepare ahead of time. Get your credit card debt out of there. Get your spending out of there. Get your car notes out of there. Get your personal loans out of there. If you can pay off your student loans, by all means do so. By all means do so, right? But at a minimum, your DTI need to be around that 35 or lower range. Last but not least, your credit. Number 3, your credit score, your mortgage score has to be, I would say, shoot for 660 or higher. If you're around that 620 range, if you're at that 600 range right now, only thing you need to do is take advantage of your credit, do the things that's going to raise your score up 20 points, 30 points, and get yourself above that 620 threshold. But to get the best savings, to put yourself in the best position when you walk in that credit, when you walk in that loan officer door and you say, hey, I want to buy a house, make sure you got all 3 of those things together. I went in 2020, 2021. I met with a guy, one of my guys, in 2019, at the end of 2019, and I said, yo, I want to buy a house. At the time, my credit was not great. It was not good at all. I made enough money, but I had too much debt. So I said, okay, I got a year and a half timeline. It took me a year to get my credit score from 580s, 590 range all the way up to close to 700. For that year, I made every intentional decision you can possibly make when it comes to putting yourself in the right position of success. I walked into my loan officer's office. I said, yo, I want a crib. I want to buy a house. I know what my credit score is to the number. I knew what my number was. The person didn't believe me. She did my credit. She pulled the credit report, and she was amazed that I knew the exact number of what my mortgage score was. Because most people don't know about FICO, and that you have a FICO mortgage score. It's not your Credit Karma score. It's not your Vantage scoring model. It is the FICO scoring model. But my point here is walking the door with everything checked to where there's no questions. Yeah, is this person can afford it income-wise? Yes. Does this person have low debt enough to where my DTI is under a certain threshold? Yes. Does that person have a mortgage score above a certain number to ultimately benefit them when it comes to the rate that you receive in that mortgage and that underwriter looking at that loan? Yes. All of the answers is yes. Walk in that door with confidence. Tell them you want a loan. Go start searching. Get that real estate agent. Go start searching for cribs and put that offer in and let's go. Let's go. Right, if you're looking for a conventional loan, you need 20% down. You need 20% down on that loan. So again, if you're looking at houses at 100,000, 200,000, you know what? Oh, okay, I need 20% down. Move that decimal point. $100,000, you need $20,000 down. Conventional loan. $200,000 home, you need $40,000 down at a minimum, plus closing costs. Put yourself in a position that you are prepared and that you are setting yourself up for success. Know the information and execute. Know the information and execute. That's all this is, man. So the criteria to buy a house, again, income, credit, low DTI. The three things that's going to put you in a great position of success moving forward, man. Again, like the video, subscribe to the channel, man. I love the game. I love the information. Leave me a comment. Where are you currently at in your home buying process? If you currently own homes, are you looking to buy more real estate? Where are you currently in that process? Right now, I'm preparing to buy another house in 2026. Me and my wife is preparing today to get to next summer, a year from now, be able to progress and move and get another crib. That's what this is all about, man. So I appreciate y'all. I love you guys, man. Keep tapping to the channel. Keep tapping in with me. Appreciate y'all. Have a good day. Peace.